Hello, happy scrappers. Welcome back to day number 26 of your scrapbooking Q&As, and I am Lain Ehmann. So thrilled to welcome you back as we talk today about color. The question is, and gosh, I should be much more prepared, and I'm not. So while I'm looking this up, I'll tell you about the business side of things. We have just a few days this month left, but I am still accepting questions because we are going to carry this feature over into future months because you guys are so helpful in sending in terrific questions. So here's what you do. Anytime, send an email to support@layoutaday.com. Tell me your burning scrapbooking questions, and I will feature them in an upcoming podcast, blog post, or video. And when I do, you will be handsomely rewarded. So Marla H. writes, I was wondering how you decide what colors to use when scrapbooking. How do you coordinate them, and do you use a color wheel? I'm going to answer that first part last. I have a color wheel. I have never used it. I just don't use it. I thought it was a cool tool. I thought I needed it as a scrapbooker, and I have never once pulled it out. There is a lot of information out there about color theory, and if you get really geeky about it in a good way, you can go into complementary, tertiary colors, coordinating colors, complementary, contrasting colors. Complementary colors are next to each other on the color wheel. Contrasting colors are across from each other on the color wheel. Tertiary colors, I don't even know. But the point is, you can train your eye to identify what looks good without having to get into the guts of it. Some people really love that and love taking classes on color and talking about tonality and shades and all of that stuff. And while I think it's very interesting, I have not chosen to really geek out on it. Instead, I focus on what looks good to my eye, and over time I have developed a sense for what colors I think look good together. So there is, I think the ability to identify color and match color is a skill, just like pretty much any other skill. Let's talk about handwriting. Your handwriting might be at a given state, but you can improve it by doing exercises, by slowing down, by strengthening your finger muscles, by doing it more. The same goes with color. You may think you just don't have a sense for color at all, but if you do a little bit of research about it, not necessarily getting into the color wheel, but if you do a little bit of research, see how other people are using color, imitate, practice, you will soon find yourself developing an eye for color. Let's say you don't even want to do that though. Let's say you want to create a layout right now and want to be guaranteed that those colors work. I have some suggestions for you. Pinterest is a fantastic place. There are tons of color combinations. I have a whole board that is color related. So I'll put the address right there so you can track it down on Pinterest. You don't have to be a Pinterest member to actually access my board, I don't think. So you can go over there and see some of the color combos that I have pinned to my board. So I'll put those on there just as inspiration. Also, carry your little phone with you when you go out to the mall. When you see a display that looks nice, whether it's in the card store or the clothing store or the flowers, whatever it might be, snap a quick picture of it. Save those photos either to a file on your phone or on your hard drive, or pin them to Pinterest yourself. So you have this ongoing portfolio of colors that you like that look to get good together to you. Now, you can also rely on experts to do the work for you. And here, this is my favorite tip. All you do, I'm reaching down to my bin of scraps. Pull out a piece of pattern paper. These colors are already coordinated. You could pull any of these colors together and know that a paid designer believed they looked good together. Here's a piece from Heidi Swap that you saw in a previous video this month. You could go in and pull the white and the pink and the yellow and the teal all out of this together and know that it is pre-coordinated. The same goes for any piece of pattern paper you have. Here's a little strip of stripes. You can see how the reds were used and the blues and the white. Let other people do the work for you. And don't limit yourself to pattern paper. Look at your other embellishments. Look at pictures in children's books. That's one of my favorite places to go to for color inspiration. Look at the hang tags on clothing that you purchase. Look at the labels at the grocery store. See what colors are used together, and then think about what sense it gives you. Some color combinations, particularly contrasting ones, generate a feeling of intensity or energy. If you pair yellow or orange with purple, Those are contrasting colors, so you're going to get a stronger sense of emotion, not necessarily negative emotion, but it's great for kids' pages because there's a lot of energy to it. Whereas if you pair things that are next to each other, like pink and purple, it's going to be a calmer page. You can also go monochromatic, where you take all different shades of purple together, or all different shades of pink on a page, or even creams and whites together, or different shades of gray. Shades of gray. I'm not going to go there. Anyway, that's another suggestion. Another one is to go to the paint store and get some of those strips of paint. Those are all different shades of the same color, so you can see how they work together, or just mix and match. Create your own little color palettes using things like that, or your pattern paper or cardstock, so when you're stuck for color combinations, you have something to go to. One note, since we are talking about using these on scrapbooking pages, I do not make an effort to match my colors of my pages and embellishments to my photos. I will look for things that don't necessarily clash with the colors in the photos, but I don't try to find the exact green of the grass or the exact brown of my daughter's hair. I don't get into it in that detail. That used to be the big trend when I first started scrapbooking 10 or 15 years ago. You'd take your photos to the scrapbook store and actually match the colors like a Garanimal kind of thing with the cardstock on the wall. There are some people, like Allie Edwards, only uses a handful of colors on her scrapbooking pages now. I think it's like craft and green and cream or something like that. So you can make just about any photo work with just about any colors by how you trim the photo, how you crop it, how you mount it, the other colors you bring in. So don't get into that matchy-matchy thinking that every page you create, the photos have to match the colors on the page. If you do have something that has very, very bold colors in it, you can go with a more neutral background, or you can try to pull out some of those colors and play with them, or you can convert the photo to black and white and then just avoid the problem altogether. So anyway, some suggestions for you. Let other people do the work for you. Create a portfolio or a little cheat sheet of color combos you like, and don't worry about matching everything. Experiment and have fun. And if it looks horrible, if you mount your photo on a color and you stick it on here and it doesn't look good, rip it off and start over. It only costs you a couple pennies and you will be happier with the results. But don't go around redoing everything. We already covered that this month. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.